very back of the sanctuary that are yours for the taking. So when you're leaving today, if you see those 5 bells, you're welcome to any and all of them. So this is my impromptu beginning for my talk. Last week you heard me quite seriously talk about anti-Semitism, and today is going to be a 180 about that and humor. So, I've been told by many people that this is a stressful time of the year, holidays. So although it has never been for me personally a stressful time, it's always been a joyous time actually. For many, if you're traveling, that can be very stressful. If you have family coming to visit you or loved ones coming to visit you, that of course is very stressful. If you have no money to buy gifts, that's stressful. If you've bought gifts and you're worrying about, is this the right gift? Did I get the right thing? That could be stressful. There's so many stressful things that can happen during a holiday that's supposed to be joyous. If you're cooking food and you're worried that no one will like your food, or you've made too much, or you've made the wrong stuff. So just all of that can be overwhelming. So the value of humor and laughter, which is one of my favorite things to do, is to be funny, is it puts you in the moment. There is no next week or 1 hour from now. You are in the moment, especially if it's a good joke, a good laugh. You're there, you're present, and to be present is one of the most valuable gifts you can give yourselves. So please sit back, enjoy, and I got a string of jokes to tell you. Okay, so while many of you know right away that their first very visit to a Unitarian Universalist church is sort of their home without even knowing it, others sometimes need some help figuring this out. To help those people figure out if Unitarian Universalism is your path, here are some possible suggestions. If you're unsure about the gender of God, you might be a Unitarian Universalist. If you own 6 pairs of Birkenstocks and your favorite pair needs to be thrown away. If the money you sent to the Sierra Club last year was more than you spent on your mother's Christmas. If you think the Holy Trinity is reduce, reuse, and recycle, you're definitely a Unitarian. If you study the 10 suggestions instead of the 10 commandments, or possibly this one, if the only time the word Jesus crosses your lips is when you trip and stub your toe. Now, I know sometimes visitors are apprehensive coming to the church like ours, where they don't know what to expect. I heard about a young boy who came for the very first time with his family to one of the larger churches and was looking at everything, including the pictures on the wall. And there was a group of pictures of men and women in military uniform. And the boy asked, "Who are these people?" A kindly minister responded, "These are the men and women who we are very proud of. They died in their service." The boy's opened wide and he says, "Was it the 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock service?" So what do you get when you cross a Unitarian Universalist with a Jehovah's Witness? Someone who knocks on your door for no apparent reason. Or better yet, someone who knocks on your door and asks you what you believe. What do you get when you cross a UU with a Muslim? Someone who kneels to pray 5 times a day, to whom it may concern, in the direction of Boston. What do you get when you cross a UU with a Pentecostal? Someone who gets up during the service on Sunday morning, waves his hand in the air and shouts, "Thank you, Darwin!" Okay. All right, let's see, the crowd is with me so far, and I'm not buffering. During religious education, the teacher asks a little girl, "Can you tell us what happened on Easter Sunday?" The little girl, of course, knows the answer. Jesus rolled back the stone, walked outside, saw his shadow, so we now have 6 more weeks of winter. The children in a UU church school class were drawing pictures. The teacher asked one of them, she said, "What are you drawing a picture of?" "I'm drawing a picture of God," was the reply. "But nobody knows what God looks like," objected the teacher. "They will," said the child, "after I get this picture done." So there was this lifelong unchurched man who suddenly develops a vague religious urge and decides to join a church, any church. So he sets out to find one. His first stop is at a Roman Catholic church, where he asks what he has to do to join. Well, the priest mentions diligent study and the affirmation of the Nicene and the Apostles' Creeds. Then, just to see how much of the man knows, he asks him, "Where was Jesus born?" The man ponders for a moment. He says, "Pittsburgh." He says, "Get out of this church," the priest says, so he leaves. His next stop is a Southern Baptist church, where the seeker is told what he would have to do. He'd have to learn Bible verses, swear belief in the Nicene and Apostles' Creeds, swear off booze, and be baptized by immersion, not some sissy sprinkling. The Baptist preacher then, to see how much this man knows, he asks him, "Where was Jesus born?" Again, the man ponders, thinking he knows the answer. "Philadelphia," he says. And he's told to get out. "You heathen, get out." So our perplexed protagonist finally walks into a Unitarian Universalist church, where he's told all he has to do is sign a membership card. "You mean I don't have to renounce anything, swear to anything, or be dunked in anything?" "That's right. We have no special test for membership, no dogma. We support total individual freedom of belief." "Then I'll join." "But tell me, where was Jesus born?" "Why, Bethlehem." He says, "Well, I knew it was somewhere in Pennsylvania." All right, so a UU minister sees a child outside in front of her house in the neighborhood. She drives through on her way to church with a sign, "Adorable kittens, free." Okay, the next day the minister notices the child out in front of a neighborhood church with a sign saying, "Adorable Methodist kittens, free." A couple of days later, the kid is posted in front of a synagogue with a sign, "Adorable Jewish kittens, free." So the minister isn't surprised when the next Sunday the child is out in front of the UU church service with a sign promising "Adorable kittens, Unitarian Universalist kittens, now free." So the minister says, "Now really," she says to the child, "they are adorable kittens, but I have a problem with your advertising. I've seen your kittens change their religion every day of the week. Why do you think I believe that these are UU kittens now all of a sudden?" "Well," said the child, "now they have their eyes open." We have a winner. If you can keep your cool and coexist when others want to argue, fight, and shout, if you can handle humanist and theist, balancing your own belief and doubt, if you can listen both to blame and praise and treat those two impostures both the same, and read church bylaws with a steady gaze and work for a common good and not just fame, if you don't break, but like the Tao you bend, you'll be a UU Congregationalist, my friend. A little poem. Not that funny, okay. All right, we have more laughs, don't worry. I'm not out of laughs. A Unitarian Universalist was out in his boat fishing when suddenly the Loch Ness Monster rose up out of the lake and attacked his boat. The Loch Ness Monster grabbed the bow of the boat in his huge mouth, flipped the Unitarian Universalist way up in the air, and opened its mouth wide, prepared to catch the guy in his mouth and eat him. As the Unitarian Universalist fell towards the huge gaping mouth filled with sharp teeth, without thinking, he said, "Oh my God, help me!" Suddenly, time froze. As the guy hung there in midair, a huge voice boomed out, "I thought you didn't believe in a personal God on whom you could call in times of crisis." "Hey, give me a break," said the guy. "A minute ago, I didn't believe in the Loch Ness Monster either." All right. You're going to enjoy this one a lot, I think. Jesus was taking a walk in heaven when he came across an old man sitting all alone. He approached the old man and asked him where he was from. The old man said that when he was alive, he grew up and lived around the Mediterranean. Jesus was pleasantly surprised and told the old man that he himself had grown up in the same area. Continuing to make small talk, Jesus asked the old man what he had done for a living. The old man said he loved working with his hands and had been a carpenter. Jesus said, "Duh," and told the old man his father had been a carpenter. Well, Jesus told the old man that his father had been a carpenter too. When Jesus asked the old man about his family, the countenance of the old man changed completely. His face lit up, and he began to speak about his son. He said his son was truly exceptional, and that his life story had touched the hearts of millions of people. His son had gone through trials and struggles and temptations, only to emerge transformed into someone who brought joy and hope to others. Jesus was dumbfounded. He raised the old man to his feet, looked him in the face, and said, "Father?" And the old man paused, then searched the eyes of Jesus and asked, "Pinocchio?" I told you that was a good one. A visitor to a UU church sat through the sermon with growing incredulity and the heretical ideas being spouted. After the sermon, the UU asked the visitors, "So how did you like it?" He says, "I can't believe half the things the minister said." He says, "Oh, good, then you'll fit right in with us." Arguing with a Unitarian Universalist is like mud wrestling with a pig. Pretty soon you realize the pig likes it. It is show and tell day at the school, and the children are requested to bring an item which illustrates their religious beliefs. David stands up and says, "This is the Star of David, and I am a Jew." Dorothy stands up and said, "This is a crucifix, and I am a Catholic." Jimmy stands up and says, "This is a coffee pot, and I am a Unitarian Universalist." This is a sad story. A little Unitarian Universalist girl was sitting on the curb in front of her house with a sad look on her face. An older lady happened upon her and asked her why she looked so sad. The girl replied, "My kitty died." Well, the old woman, trying to be helpful, said to the little girl, "I know you're real sad right now, but your kitty's with Jesus." And the girl crinkled her nose for a second and replied, "What would Jesus want with a dead cat?" Some other clues that you might be a Unitarian Universalist. You may be a Unitarian Universalist if you think socks are a little too formal for a Sunday service. Even your goldfish gets to vote on family viewing night. You consider Charlie Brown and Dilbert to be spiritual leaders. You know at least 5 ways to say happy holidays. And your Christmas tree has 7 symbols on its top. Unleavened bread is part of your Easter brunch. You find yourself lighting a chalice before brushing your teeth. If when you watch Jaws you root for the shark, hey, sharks got to eat too. Belly dancing has been at some point a part of your Sunday service. And Halloween, you explain to everyone the pagan significance of your costumes. You consider Groucho, Harpo, and Chico to be the Holy Trinity. And X-Files is a regular source of your church's sermons. So a newcomer took a seat in front of the pews in the First Unitarian Universalist Church. When the minister began preaching about liberal theology, the newcomer became more and more enthusiastic and finally shouted, "Amen," when the preacher definitely proved the use of reason was essential to religion. There was a longtime member of the church in the next pew who leaned over and glared at the newcomer. "In this church, we do not shout amen during the sermon," hissed the longtime member. The newcomer looked flustered and said, "But I've got religion." "Well," said the longtime member, "you didn't get it here." And that, my friends, ends my joke fest.